Do you cringe every time you hear the Airbnb message ding? Is guest messaging taking up more and more of your time, giving you less and less capacity to enjoy life and work on improving your property? Today, we're unpacking a cutting-edge technology that frees you from dealing with 95% of your Airbnb guests' messages. It sounds so much like you, it's scary. Guests have no idea that they aren't communicating with you. I went from highly skeptical to a total fangirl. Our lives changed overnight. We suddenly have time to work on projects we've been putting off for years. In this episode, you will learn which $10 tool can change your hosting game, give you your time back, delight your guests, and actually improve your Airbnb reviews. Let's jump in.
Jake, what is HostBuddy AI?
HostBuddy AI is an AI messaging tool for hosts, and it fits any portfolio size. So if you manage one property, two properties, 1,000 properties, it'll automate all of the messages. It'll automatically send out responses based on your property details, past conversations, and it's mirroring your tone, solving problems, and saving you a ton of time and money.
How does it learn all those answers?
It connects into your property management system primarily. So it will see all of your property details, such as how many bedrooms, where it's located, all the little amenities about your property. And then it'll also read your past conversations and understand, has this question been asked before? Can I use that information to answer it in the future? And it's constantly learning about your properties. You can add standard operating procedures so that it knows how to handle specific situations if it doesn't have that knowledge. Basically, its knowledge base is unlimited. So we have hosts that are automating over 95% of their guest communications just by maximizing the HostBuddy AI tool.
I will say that since we have integrated HostBuddy into our workflow, it has been life-changing. We had automated messaging in place, but all of the one-offs across 14 properties add up rather quickly. And I have tried other solutions in the past and been very underwhelmed. And it was like a quick plug, unplug. This is terrible. It's frightening how authentic HostBuddy is at replicating what I sound like and the vernacular I use to the level of joy that it seems to have answering guests.
HostBuddy is really happy.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy. So I think it reflects,
Okay.
and I think you can tone it down. There is an option to tweak the level of hospitality intensity, but two enthusiastic thumbs up.
I think you said, I think it answers better than me.
Oh, absolutely, because HostBuddy isn't hanging off the side of a ladder or at a lacrosse game or doing other things in life while trying to service guests. It's a fully focused robot. That was my observation. What problem or gap in the market led you to create HostBuddy?
We just felt like we weren't serving our guests to the best of our ability because of all those other things that we were involved in. We're trying to scale our business, but we're also people and we need to sleep. And we didn't feel the need to have to hire people to be available overnight. If there's AI that can be built that is going to do a much better job than we will and answer much, much quicker with more detail, why not be the first to create that solution? So when we initially created it in 2023, our initial purpose was to solve that overnight communication problem. From there, we realized this can really be applied to any hour of the day and you can teach it anything. Luckily, we partnered with one of the most talented software developers that I've ever met, who is our really good friend. And we all live in San Diego together. So we all collaborated on this idea and created it for our own property management business, which is what makes it so powerful. And that's why I think you said you've tried other solutions and you just didn't feel that same result. It's because not many AI messaging solutions are focused on the actual quality of the responses. It's just the fact that it can give a response, but it might not be personable and sound like you and be able to actually problem solve and think. So that's what we focused on from the very beginning, and that's how we've grown it to where it is today.
Oh, that's fantastic. And to give our listeners a little background, an example of where it's absolutely wonderful late at night or any time of day, we have a lot of properties in the mountains, and with wind, weather, power outages happen. And the rate at which you respond to someone who's lost power is a huge indicator of how calmly they're going to react and whether they're going to leave or not. So we purposely added power outage specifics for each of our properties down to here's where the power outage kit is. We've already called the power company. It's a game changer.
The other feature, other than just the guest responses that has really been impactful for us, is action items. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Of course. As a host, I think you should be concerned about feeling like you're still involved, potentially feeling like you're detached from the business now because AI is taking over all of your guest communication. That's a scary thing for some people. And it can be done while keeping you still in the loop and having you take care of those more important messages that maybe the AI isn't capable of handling. So the action items were created to ensure that the host stays in the loop. So if there's something that's going on at your property where the guest mentions something and the AI doesn't have the necessary resources or knowledge to go and execute a resolution, it's going to generate an action item and that'll get sent to you directly. The important thing is that if somebody is reporting a major emergency and the AI can't go and fix it for them or drop off more towels or fix a broken bed, right? You're still in the loop on that. And then you can go and figure out the best resolution on your end.
And to unpack two parts of that for everybody, one is that Host Buddy will defer to a teammate, right? If it doesn't know the answer, unlike some things, it just doesn't make crap up. It says, let me defer to a teammate, and then we can intervene. The other thing to unpack from the action items is we just leave them in that action item folder, and on Mondays, we go through and say, okay, the bed was broken here, the screw was loose there. We use it as our maintenance checklist and then defer those items out to the appropriate handy person, and it keeps our maintenance checklist up to date.
Which used to be me keeping things in my phone and writing them down and trying to remember them all. And I'm pretty efficient, but I'm not AI efficient.
Literally improving our properties physically because we have this better logging of little guest issues that fall through the cracks otherwise.
Yeah, and maybe it's not a situation where Host Buddy feels like it can't resolve an issue, but it's something where the guest is heading out and they're saying, hey, I checked out just to let you know there's this scratch on the wall or something just really minor.
We couldn't find the can opener.
Like there wasn't an iron when I was leaving and I really wanted to use an iron. It's not going to impact my review, but I just wanted to let you know. Those things are going to get logged as well. That all falls into the whole action item categories.
Physically improving the properties.
Yeah, and guest experience. All right, we've said what we think is valuable. What do you think is the biggest value that Host Buddy offers Airbnb investors?
I think it's the power of being able to decide what you want to do with all the extra time and money. If you're substituting human coverage, having somebody on your team for Host Buddy, now you're able to have a ton of extra time and a ton of extra money to go and put it back into your business or focus on other things in your life. If you're an investor with one property and you just don't want to be as involved as you feel like you are and guests are asking questions 24/7, this is amazing. And the best part is it's going to feel personalized and the guest is going to be taken care of. I think now this is changing a lot in the industry, but initially when you think about AI, it doesn't really sound exactly like a hospitable solution, right? It's technology. It's not going to be able to provide the same quality of responses that I would, right, as a host. But once you let that control go and understand that it's mirroring your tone, it's sounding like you, and taking care of all the repetitive things, that time that you get back is amazing. And you can make as many templated messages as you want, but with Host Buddy, everything is personalized and it just makes it feel so much better.
I know we feel like we're getting our time back.
Yes, and I actually suggested Host Buddy in an online forum, and someone commented with a really thoughtful reflection. They're like, Host Buddy is fantastic as long as what you have messaged prior, what it's learning from, is quality. And I thought that was a very intelligent thought. You can't be a terrible host and get Host Buddy and be like, oh, everything's going to be great. Right. It's learning from you. It's basically an extension of your brain trust. And so you have to start with quality to get quality out.
And we made it an option to deselect the conversational analysis from the past 6 months. So if you are somebody who feels like maybe you had someone on your team, or maybe you just felt like you weren't doing a good job yourself as a host and you want Host Buddy to start from scratch, it can do that. It's still going to do a really good job by taking all your property details and all of your specific things about your property and solve all those little things that you might not thought that it could.
And that's a good point too, where we've had a couple of instances where perhaps our past knowledge base didn't contain this information. We haven't touched on this yet, but you can then go in and train Host Buddy. Host Buddy answered something a little bit differently than I would, or had something mixed up, but you can train the AI.
It was the location of a flashlight, which is very cabin specific. So yeah, it was great to be able to make that tweak and know going forward, it will be perfect every time.
You can also do test conversations too. So before you have this full conversation with a real guest, you can be the guest in a test conversation and say, hey, where's the flashlight? And it'll tell you. If it's not getting that right, you'll be able to see that and quickly correct that in the knowledge base.
So we haven't touched on that yet, and I was going to bring it up. When I heard about your service at the conference. I think you guys had mentioned Meet Host Buddy. Anybody out there, have a little fun with this. They have a test property, and I'm going to read this because it's so great. And this is the exact prompt that I used when I was investigating you guys. I said, will the hot tub be ready for our stay? Host Buddy said, hi, apologies, but Tranquil Heavens does not have a hot tub. However, you'll find many other wonderful amenities, including a beautiful patio, ocean views, a barbecue grill, and easy beach access just steps away from the property. Fantastic.
Yay! I want to stay there even though it doesn't have a hot tub.
Way to handle an objection.
It's almost like a sales assistant at that point.
Oh my gosh. So go check out Meet Host Buddy. Ask it some fun questions. I got that answer. And I was like, I'm sold. Speaking of which, how many short-term rental investors is Host Buddy currently helping?
Yeah, so we have just over 11,000 properties listings on our system. So definitely growing very quickly. 2025 has been huge. And I think the overall adoption rate of AI is increasing a lot. So as an outlook for the future, I think that's something that's becoming a lot more common. And I love to see that people are putting their trust in the AI versus being like, no way, it's human touch business. I can't do it. And that was a challenge when we first started in 2023 and pitching this idea to property managers. And it's only been a couple of years, but at the very beginning, it was a lot of no's, like, no, like I would never do that. But now we're seeing every day people save a ton of money, save a ton of time, and just put their money and time back into their business.
It's a better answer than I would have given my guest. That's a question we get asked. That's why I asked Host Buddy about it. Is the hot tub going to be ready? I usually say something boring like, it's serviced regularly and will be ready year round.
Yeah. And the fact that you converted me, I'm pretty anti-robot other than my Roomba, and sort of was drug into this test and could not be happier with it, as I've said prior. If you converted me, you could pretty much count on converting the rest of the known population. You may not know this, but we've talked about Host Buddy in a past episode and the basics of how to use it to handle the guest messaging. And we've talked about a few other features today. Can you tell us what new features we can look forward to being added?
Yeah, a lot of our recent updates have involved the smart inbox and adding additional connectivity into WhatsApp and open phone and things like that. So if you're an operator who has guests who are texting you on a separate line, those conversations are also going to come into your inbox as well. That becomes really helpful. If there's multiple guests too, and they just feel like texting or calling the host directly, open phone call summaries will be generated and put into the inbox. All that's been really helpful. Adding notes and specific things into certain conversations where you can have notes visible to Host Buddy to use is something that we've added recently as well. So all of those things just make it a more personalized experience and make sure Host Buddy isn't responding to things without the context of prior engagement between you and the guest directly. So that's just a couple of our more recent things. Also, action item custom categories is something that's relatively new. We have default categories like cleaning and maintenance, guest requests, things like that. But now you can create a specific category for anyone who's mentioning a power outage, and all of those specific power outage messages go straight to a specific service contact. That's a very simple example, but the amount of different things that you can do with that is pretty crazy. Some of the newer things that we're doing are going to be based a little bit around upselling. So through our smart templates, you're able to market to existing guests that are staying at their properties, reach out to them a year later over text or over email and say, hey, I'd love for you to come back and stay at our property.
That's awesome. We do kind of a rudimentary version of that where we have an auto message that goes out, timed intervals saying, hey, all seasons are great, but I could imagine Host Buddy's going to do a little bit more nuanced job of that.
Yeah, I think it'll pull. Remember when you said how much you enjoyed roasting s'mores? It's going to be so good. People are not going to be able to resist it.
Definitely excited for that. So a lot of new things. And the great part about our business model is that we really are following what the hosts are asking for. So mobile app definitely coming soon, lock integrations where Host Buddy can change the code to a smart lock if someone's checking in early, things like that. Like really trying to implement all the systems and make it easiest for hosts to use it on the go and have people on their team using it as well.
Wow, that's mind blown.
Start calling this segment Heard It Here First.
Yeah, we're cutting edge here. So you're living the high-tech edge of the industry. And I'm curious if you have any predictions for the future of the short-term rental industry.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that not only are hosts going to be more capable of using AI and more willing to adopt it, but I also think that the guests are going to feel more comfortable potentially knowing that AI is responding to them. Because I think the thing that they really care about is that they're getting the best service possible. And whether that's from the human or from an AI that's responding to their message about how to work the air conditioner at 3 a.m., what are the odds that a human's really there and going to answer in like 30 seconds is pretty low. But I think that if you do implement AI and the more comfortable guests are getting to feeling like they're taken care of, regardless of if it's a human or an AI, I think that's becoming more commonplace. I think the hosts that do use AI are just a lot more advantaged than the ones that aren't. Moving into 2026, you're going to see a lot more adoption of AI, whether that's AI messaging, AI systems, AI agents for any other tasks in your business. I think it's becoming more common. Like to focus on the AI messaging portion of it, sort of like the way that guests receive it is changing too.
And to be honest, I don't think anybody's caught on.
We just got a 5-star review that said Cullen was the most
Oh, this is terrible.
the most wonderful, engaged host I have ever experienced. And I'm the one that usually does the messaging, and now the robot's getting the credit. But it's
true.
People are feeling very taken care of. And whether that's AI or us and what they know and don't know, people are positively responding to the level of care and contact they're receiving.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. And the ones that aren't using the AI are going to shortly be very disadvantaged because all of their guests that they're hosting are used to getting such pleasant AI responses, right? So now there's just this really big gap of the fantastic personalized AI responses that are very prompt and quick and detailed versus the bland, delayed response. I stayed at an Airbnb recently, and right when I booked, it said average response time 45 minutes for the host. And I was like,
Sales call. Sales call.
Like, what? So at that point, I was like, I'm going to leave them a card and tell them it exists, because people don't know that this stuff exists yet, or they just don't think that it's going to be possible, but it has been.
We're pretty on top of this kind of stuff, and I didn't know about it till this summer.
And that's the job of this podcast, is to introduce the best possible tools to our listeners so they can get started or scale faster. And this is magic.
So
what advice would you give medium-sized portfolio investors?
I think you reach a point where you start to realize that it's really difficult to maintain your quality as you scale. I think as hosts, most people get into it with the idea of maintaining the quality and maintaining the customer service and just the personal touch. And you slowly lose that once you start to introduce a lot more people onto your team. You're a little bit more out of touch with the quality you're providing. So I think always just staying on top of the new technology that's coming out, and maybe not being like the guinea pig in the first round of everything that comes out, but following and listening to people, joining groups and hearing about the different tools that people are using and following what works, I think is always really important, because the quicker that you hop on these things and you're able to save money and time, it's going to be very visible in your business, the way that you can reinvest it.
That's excellent advice, Jay. How can our listeners get in touch with HostBuddy if they want to sign up, learn more, play with the AI?
HostBuddy.ai is the website. We do give a 14-day free trial to anyone who is signing up. So you'll see around the front page, you can sign up. You can also have a free demo if you want to hear more and sit with one of our amazing customer service managers and just hear more about how HostBuddy would specifically fit into your business, because we understand everyone's business is different.
You think, I'm going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting just to do that free trial. I just connected the properties, and HostBuddy went and learned in a couple of minutes all those background messages and was able to start answering questions right away. The onboarding was super easy.
I like to call it auto magical. It was just like...
That's the beauty of it too, is even if you don't think that HostBuddy can take care of all of your messages because you haven't given it enough information yet, that's fine. You can slowly add more details. And then the gaps, you'll get action items about those things where it says like, how do you want to handle this early check-in? I don't want to lie to them and say that it's available. That's an opportunity for you then to go in, and you can decide whether or not HostBuddy is going to respond to the guest in that moment or just defer straight to you and not send anything. It's highly customizable. The cool part is right when you start, it can automatically automate 60% of your messages at least, and then you can start adding additional things after that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jay. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It's been fun.
So there you have it. You now know how a $10 a month tool can free you from guest messaging, improve your guest experience, and Airbnb reviews. You also learn why hosts who embrace AI tools are going to rapidly outpace their peers who don't in terms of success and guest satisfaction. Keep listening to the Host Coach Show.